This is the Thayer Podcast for Thursday, July 27th, 2023. I tuned in a talk show online the other day and came across a guy talking about the beginning of a movie a friend and I had seen last week. He told his audience,
from the beginning, you're going to feel the pain of the father taking his kids, a daughter and a son, who is approached by a recruiter saying, your kids can be models, they can be in movies. He says, tonight, audition is at such and such time. Today, tomorrow's audition is such and such time. Father dresses in a suit, takes them to this room, and he takes the kids there. They're excited. Put the kids in the room, and the girl says, come back to pick them up at 7 o'clock. He says, what do you mean? Come back to pick them up at 7 o'clock. He leaves, comes back 7 o'clock. No one's there.
None.
That's how the movie starts.
two good friends wrote similar notes to me about Sound of Freedom and its grisly tale of human abduction and child sex slavery. This movie is a must-see, they wrote. The more of us that see this movie, the more of us that are aware of this horror that's existing in our universe. And we're contributing to the recovery of these precious little ones when we see this movie. So much of the money is being spent to find and rescue these precious children. The 12-year-old girl, Rocio, tugged at my heartstrings in Sound of Freedom, but I was completely smitten by 8-year-old Miguel for a number of reasons. He'd been named Teddy Bear. My sister and one of my dear friends call me that. In Spanish, Miguel's moniker would be Teo, short for Teodoro, Ted, or Teddy, the nickname his captor gave him, Oso Teo. The film has only one goal. These kids must be rescued. The movie is a beautifully embellished, compelling nonfiction story that drives home the fact that God's children are not for sale.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
The rhythm of 2 taps to 1 is the basis for rock and roll, and it is the Sound of Freedom. While much of the liberal mainstream media downplayed the significance of the moral message in Sound of Freedom, the always ignorant, ill-mannered women of ABC TV network's The View showed clearly last week that they hadn't bothered to see the movie, but rather just chose to criticize it in full-throated support of woke ideology and godless immorality. The star of the film, Jim Caviezel, you'll remember, he played Jesus in Mel Gibson's February blockbuster Passion of the Christ in 2004. The not-so-ladylike ladies of The View also took the time to criticize both Gibson and Caviezel because of their supposedly conservative political views on life, liberty, and freedom. Whatever. Watch the trailer and then go see Sound of Freedom. I give it 5 thumbs up.
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
For Homeland Security, we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
And where my fathers died.
And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
Land of the pilgrims'
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead.
It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. What if this was your daughter?
Sorry, man. She's gone.
Let freedom ring.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
Improvise, adapt, overcome. Simplify.